Yep, it is. We are live. It is July 2nd, 2023. It is Sunday of 4th of July weekend, except I don't get tomorrow off, even though I have for previous times before. But that's all right. I'm off the rest of the week, though, so I'll be happy. I'm happy about that. 4th of July is on Tuesday. So for us Americans, a big party. Canada Day was on Monday, or rather was on Saturday yesterday. So Canada celebrated their thing, and I think that's part of the decaying smell. So I'm gonna get rid of those. Yeah. So welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows, and it's earlier than usual. Had a busy day yesterday. Had an Oriole game, and by the time I got back, I really didn't want to do the show late in the evening because I had to get up early today because I had to take my daughter back up to camp. She had her first week of a training last week. So now it starts for real. She starts her actual work tomorrow. So it's going to be up there this week. Just so happens that this week was also the week that my wife and son are going up to the camp as well for their camp too. So I'm home alone for this week as well. They will be back on Saturday. My daughter goes back up on Sunday. So nothing like that. So I'm wearing my new 4th of July shirt. So that's good. Just came back from a family 4th of July party we usually have. We're not going to do it on Tuesday, but we decided to do it on Sunday. It's a it's a family reunion because we were supposed to go to a wedding in September, but that didn't, they delayed it, postponed it. So we decided to have everybody come for 4th of July. So my dad and his multitude of siblings, how many does he have again? Philip, Kathy, Jamie, Terry. He's got 5 other siblings. So there's 6 children in the family. They all were here together, and saw one of my cousins I haven't seen in forever, which is kind of good. There were 2 dogs there, and fun times had by all. Took my daughter up to camp today early in the morning, so that was interesting. So now I decide it's the best time to do it. I have to go to work tomorrow, so that's why I decided to do it this early, so I'm not up late. Hopefully be done this before 10 o'clock. And so I just figured I'd go through here. So a lot of interesting stuff going on, a lot of local news, including something about weed. Also, the Supreme Court of the United States last year fucked us up with their abortion ban, or overturning abortion, I should say. And this year they fucked us up even more around the same time of the year. So last year, this time I went absolutely off the rails. I'm going to probably go a little bit off the rails a little later right now. I'm not going to do it right now because I got a lot of stuff to cover. And we have more smoke. We had more production starts, production endings, trailers, babies. As I said, a lot of local news, a lot of trailers, some Halloween and Christmas stuff. My first mention of Roblox in a long time is in here. And there's even a little bit of Fortnite news in here too. And Transform, I talked about that already. And Tron 3, Julian Sands, Crack Coon, cheeseburger stabbings. Where's the other thing also here? Pokemon taxidermy. And a whole lot more stuff. So I got a whole lot of interesting stuff going on. So here we are. Today is also the day that the aliens invaded the Earth on Independence Day. Today was the day they arrived, and at 6 o'clock they blew up the White House. So the White House has been blown up now for 2 hours, and they're spreading across the country right now. So we're being destroyed even as we speak right now. So that's what's going on. So this week's episode is called Legally Baked. Why is it called Legally Baked, Dylan? Well, because July 1st, 2023, recreational marijuana is legal in Maryland for 21 years of age and older, obviously. But yes, we had approved medical marijuana a while back on a vote, and then we approved recreational, but it took a while, I guess, just to get things out of organized, stuff like that. But everything's in place, and yesterday was the first day of legal recreational marijuana. So good job, Maryland. I don't smoke it, but I thought it was kind of cool that we actually got a chance to do that. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, there we go. 21 years of age or older can now smoke marijuana wherever they want, wherever they can, wherever it's allowed. I mean, you can't smoke really anymore in bars or airplanes and stuff like that, but in your car, in your home, on the sidewalk, and can't be busted for it. So that's pretty cool. Canada Day was also yesterday, besides the legalization of marijuana here in Maryland. It's the Canadian Independence Day. And to celebrate this past week, they had more smoke come through our area. So the forest fires that I thought were over are not. Actually, they're still smoking. And wasn't as bad as it was a couple weeks ago, but we did get some smoke this week. And it was kind of harsh during the week. And the first batch of smoke that hit us has now officially gone over and reached England. So that's really, really an interesting sort of take on things. So that's really interesting. Yesterday, I also went to the Orioles game. It was Hawaiian shirt night. Orioles lost a close one, 1-0. Saw my first interference for an out incident. I saw one of our Orioles players supposedly get thrown out stealing, but after review, it was overturned. He was declared safe. Saw two great web gems, one from the Orioles and one from the Twins, who they were playing. And the one from the Twins basically saved the game for them. So it was a disappointing game all around, but it was nice, and I got a new Hawaiian shirt. I'm not wearing it today because A, it's 4th of July weekend, and B, I wore it yesterday, so it's all kind of sweaty because we are in Baltimore summer now with the high humidity and the heat, so it's disgusting outside right now. So I'm staying in my nice air-conditioned basement and house here. So that's pretty good. So we got that going on. Also we had the first fireworks last night also. I heard them. They were really, really loud. They were actually really right next door to us. They were like right over there. And around that same time, I saw flashing lights out in front of our house, and a fire truck, EMT truck, a police car, and all that were parked in front of our house. And the house across the street from us, number 17, had people going in and out of it. So don't know what happened there. Hopefully, whatever happened, everyone will be okay, and are okay. We'll be okay. Yep. So that's about it. And Noelle came back yesterday also for a brief amount of time, and then I took her back up today, and she won't be back again until Saturday, along with my wife and son. So there we go. Next weekend is actually Shore Leave up at Hunt Valley, which is the biggest science fiction, Star Trek science fiction convention on the Eastern Coast. One of the best ones, biggest ones, popular ones like that. So we got that going on. So that's interesting little tidbit there. So we got that happening. So that's what's going on. And also Twitter fucked up yesterday. The idiot who bought it apparently had been getting some issues with China data mining stuff. So he slowed down the amount of tweets you can see till they fought it, and then blamed it for some other bullshit stuff. I don't know if we still have the limit on stuff, but it's only can look at 600 tweets a day or something like that, which is absolutely stupid. So we'll continue to see how that goes. I'm not going to go off on Supreme Court yet, but that was the other big thing that came out. So let's hit some other stuff here. Hamilton, 4th of July weekend's coming up here. 4th of July itself is coming up. Hamilton is great. They have a Hamilton on Disney Plus right now, a film version of, it's a film version of one of the stage shows with the original cast. And it was hugely popular. We watched it a couple years ago, and it's still on Disney Plus now. So Disney Plus decided for 4th of July weekend this year, they are going to add a sing-along version of it. So you can now sing along with the cast of Hamilton right now. So if you want to watch it and sing along with it, by all means, go for it right now. Olivia Williams and Jodie May have joined the cast of the Max original series Dune: The Sisterhood, sequel to the Dune TV movie that's out now, or will be out in December, I should say. Nicholas Alexander Chavez and Cooper Koch have been cast as the Menendez brothers in the new Monster season on Netflix. which will be obviously focused on that. Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny was projected to hit $65 million this week. It did not. It hit $60 million this week. So another sort of lackadaisical sort of legacy opening weekend. So, oh well, it's a shame, but it was number one this week. Spider-Verse ended up beating out Elemental for number one last week, and Elemental is still hanging around. It will make more than that god-awful Flash fucking movie, so that's outstanding. So that's a hit in my name. Supermodel Naomi Campbell welcomes baby number 2 at the age of 53. So it's a little bit dangerous to have kids, but it just goes to prove that women can have children late in life as well. It's not recommended because it's a little bit harder for the women to recover than obviously the men, but still congratulations to her. Evan Peters, Greta Lee, and Jodie Turner-Smith have all been cast in Tron 3 along with what's his face? The guy who played Morbius and is in the band and stuff, is in that one band, stuff like that. Everybody hates him now. I forget his name. Guy who was on that TV show with Claire Danes. I forget their name. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm tired and as I get through this and don't give a rat's ass. But that Tron 3 is in the works and it's got a pretty good interesting cast going on. Chocolatey chip cookie dough Rice Krispie treats have been seen out and about, so that's interesting. Fortnite is going to release their first like character bundle sort of thing in stores in a while. They haven't done that for a while, but it is the Transformers. There will be 3 Transformer skins you can get: Bumblebee, Megatron, and the Battle Bus. And they have emotes and all kinds of stuff. So instead of it going to the shop, you can go out to GameStop or whatever in October, pick it up and get it then, and then it will be in the shop like in time for Christmas, November, December. But you can get it ahead of time if you want to for that. I'm just going to put it up here. I'll give us about an hour before I really get into it. Some deaths this week. The big death this week was Alan Arkin, big time supporting actor, won an Oscar for the movie Little Miss Sunshine. Was also in the movies Edward Scissorhands, Gattaca, The Rocketeer, Glengarry Glen Ross, Grosse Point Blank, and a whole bunch of other ones. Those are my favorite ones. And he also is the father of Adam Arkin, who played Adam in Northern Exposure. So Alan Arkin passed away this week. Anniversaries: Terminator Genesis came out 8 years ago. Again, that's the second reboot. So you had the original Terminator trilogy. Then you had the Christian Bale movie, which didn't do too well. Then you had this one, Genesis, where they changed up everything and it didn't do well. And then they had the new one, Dark Window or whatever, that brought Linda Hamilton back. So Terminator is a mess, but the Genesis movie came out, 8 years ago this week. Big Trouble in Little China came out 37 years ago this week. One of my least favorite movies of all time, but I may as well mention it because a lot of people did like it, and it is a special anniversary. Armageddon came out 25 years ago this week. Armageddon's a terrible movie, but that's besides the point. Apollo 13 came out 28 years ago this week. A League of Their Own came out 31 years ago this week, so Tom Hanks likes this week, and you'll see another Tom Hanks one down the line. Stranger Things Season 4 Part 2 came out a year ago this week. The final 2 episodes of the incredibly inflated season, which was very good season, by the way, I should say. And in history, the Battle of Gettysburg raged July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 160 years ago this week. So that was a kind of a big deal. So, all right, next up. Maple flavored raisin bran is a new flavor of raisin bran. That actually sounds pretty cool. That was shown out and about on Canada Day, so that's pretty cool. Deadpool 3 had Ben Affleck was seen on set. Deadpool 3, leading people to believe that he will be reprising his role as Daredevil. Kind coming up here very soon. Don't know for sure, or he might be doing something else, but he was spot on set. And they are just about finished filming the movie, so that's a real quick thing that they've been doing here. My girl Felicia Day launched the Third Eye Sci-Fi Audible series, which is a series of like a radio play sort of thing that you can only get on Audible, about the chosen one who failed to defeat who she was supposed to defeat, and now is considered a outcast and has to try to get her mojo back, sort of thing. Neil Gaiman is the narrator of the show, and the voice cast includes Felicia Day, of course, playing the lead, Sean Astin, Will Wheaton, Christopher Judge, Lily Pichu, London Hughes are the voice actors for that. So you can only get it on Audible. I don't think it's available yet, but it will be coming out really soon, though. So I love Felicia Day, and I love all the stuff she does. So this is really cool. So sounds like another sort of fantasy sort of thing. So that's pretty cool. Actor Jake Johnson from The New Girl is set to direct his first movie called Self-Reliance. He will star in it along with Andy Samberg, Anna Kendrick, Wayne Brady, Christopher Lloyd, Natalie Morales, Gatta, Emily Hampshire, Mary Holland, and Boborn Majoris. Will be debuting on Hulu on September 8th. And the premise is basically a loser, slacker sort of guy who needs money, is offered $1 million to be hunted by somebody, but the stipulation is that he can only be hunted alone. So in order to not be hunted, he ends up bringing his friends and family with him so that they will not hunt him, and it backfires on him, obviously. So that's the premise for that dark comedy, it sounds like to me. Five Nights at Freddy had their first full trailer come out from Blumhouse. It looks positively creepy, as you expected from Five Nights at Freddy, so it's pretty cool about that. Full Circle trailer from Max, Timmy Oliphant, Dennis Quaid. I think I saw Claire Danes in there as well, and a few other things as well. It's about like a kidnapping that goes all kind of crazy. Olga Kurlenka and Armand Assante are doing a film called Misdirection, which is a home invasion thriller. Again, as I've been saying, it seems like a lot of like late 90s or 90s actors who were kind of big at the time are now coming to have sort of a renaissance. Now, Armand Assante hasn't really done anything for a long time. But now this is kind of a big movie enough so that's been talked about on Facebook. So that's pretty cool. A heroic pig named Barbecue defended her fellow farm animals from a bear that happened to enter into their farm pens, and the pig went out and tried to save Dave, but his name was Barbecue. Pluto TV has announced a Godzilla channel, 24-hour Godzilla channel, with 2 hard-to-find movies also debuting on it as well. People keep asking what's going on with the Sandman. It made a huge splash last year, and then we haven't heard much about it since. Well, we got our first behind-the-scenes photos of them filming the new season of Sandman, and the photos that they show look like Sandman will be dealing with his son Orpheus, so that's kind of interesting to see that. Captain America Brave New World has finished principal photography as well, so they're on track right now to do good. Kevin Bacon is set to star as an undead bounty hunter in a new Blumhouse series at Prime called The Bondsman. So Prime it was Kevin Bacon, undead, a bounty hunter. So they just said, you don't need to give us a pilot. We're just going right to series with that. So that'll be on Prime eventually. Probably sooner than later. I'm happy about this. Don't get me wrong. I love Margot Robbie. I think she's great. And I think Adam Driver would have been absolutely wrong for this role. But both Adam Driver and Margot Robbie apparently are out as members of the Fantastic Four. So we don't know who the cast of Fantastic Four is now. And we're not going to find out San Diego since Marvel's not going to be at San Diego. So we're going to have to wait till D20 in September, which is supposedly the next time they could reveal the cast members. But I'm very happy that they will not be in the movie, though I still think Adam Driver would be an excellent Silver Surfer. But that's just me. But I love, and I said I love Margot Robbie, but I don't think she would have been right for Miss Invisible Woman. So apparently there was a cheeseburger stabbing, but no one on the news really knew what it meant. Did it mean that there was a cheeseburger was stabbed? Was there somebody stabbed at a cheeseburger place? No one knows, but it just seemed like an interesting story, and I thought I mentioned it. The Blackfeet Natives celebrated the return of bison into the wild near their reservation, so that's good to see that. Showtime is scrapping the Gattaca TV show. I love Gattaca, and the Gattaca TV show probably could have been interesting. With they had a really good executive producer team on it. Members who worked on the X-Files were going to work on it, but it got scrapped, so we will not be seeing it. Super Team 4 animated series is due to debut on Netflix on July 20th, and it's set in Africa, and it's done by an African animation group, so that's pretty cool. That we're going to see that. As I said when it came out all the way back in February, that Cocaine Bear would have a whole bunch of people, doing imitations of stuff like that, and we've had a whole bunch come out. Well, here's a new one. Crackoon is a real film about a raccoon on crack. So yes, that is out and about now too. Skincare is the new thriller starring Elizabeth Banks and Nathan Fillion, which is ready to be filmed here. Speaking of Cocaine Bear, Elizabeth Banks directed that. TikTok is always interesting with their TikTok challenge stuff. Some of them are interesting. Some of them are, what the hell are you thinking? This is one of those. McDonald's has been celebrating Grimace, and with the Grimace shake and stuff like that, the purple shake and the Grimace stuff like that. Well, the new TikTok challenge has people drinking the Grimace shake and then pretending to die from it. So it's ridiculous, and it's also made its way into anime as well. So we're just kind of dumb, but oh well. The Lesson is a new film that stars Julie Delpy, Richard E. Grant, and Daryl McCormick. Death, Susan Johnson, the queen of sex education, died this week. The Firm, debuted 30 years ago this week. And Cannonball Run debuted 39 years ago this week. And Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original one with Gene Wilder, debuted 52 years ago this week. And War of the Worlds, the Spielberg Cruise remake of the classic H.G. Wells film, debuted in 2005 in this week. Right now, it's hard to estimate what box office is going to be. People thought that Indiana Jones was going to do $65 million. It dropped to $60 million. But everybody's interested in the whole Barbie Oppenheimer showdown. Right now, it looks like Barbie's got the lead on this, considering it's also only a 2-hour movie, where Oppenheimer's close to a 3-hour movie. So you're going to have less showings of Oppenheimer than Barbie. But right now, Barbie going on current advanced ticket sales from Fandango and all that stuff. Right now, the estimate is for Barbie to make 70 to 80 million in its opening weekend, and Oppenheimer to make 40 to 50 million in its opening weekend, which would be an outstanding debut for both of them. And it's been so long since two movies opened with such high grosses for the week. So if that ends up being the truth, that would be really, really cool, I think, because they're being really, really cool with each other. So I think that's really wild. Warrior Nun 3, which was a film or a series that Netflix did for 2 seasons and got a rabid fan base. Netflix canceled it, and people screamed and yelled about it. So Warrior Nun 3 is going to be picked up from another streamer. Don't know who it is yet, but the creators of it said, we have been okayed for a season 3. So they will be releasing that on a different streaming service, but you will be getting a season 3 of Warrior Nun. Excuse me. Past Lives trailer came out this week. It's a new A24 movie. Don't know much about it. Just from watching the trailer, you can't really get much about it. The Baker trailer also came out this week with Ron Perlman, Harvey Keitel, and Elias Koteas. Basically about a baker played by Ron Perlman, whose estranged son comes with him and leaves his daughter with him while he goes to deal with a card shark or a loan shark or whatever, and the loan shark ends up kidnapping him or whatever. So we learned that Ron Perlman used to be an assassin, and he goes into assassin mode to save his son. So kind of a revenge action thriller sort of thing going on. Happiness for Beginners is a Netflix film based on a novel, due out on July 27th. It's a camping, hiking movie, romantic comedy sort of thing about a woman who needs to find herself and ends up joining a camping, hiking group that one of the members is her brother's best friend who is flirting with her. So that should be interesting about that. Dune Part 2 have released their new full-length trailer this week as well. It's Dune. It's what you expect. It's okay. I'm not the biggest Dune fan, but that's all right. The Fortnite Summer Event, which is an event that a lot of people are struggling for. Last year's was awful. Hopefully this year's will be a lot better. Begins July 4th and runs through July 18th. So I will be doing the Fortnite Summer Event probably this week, as well as watching lots and lots of movies. My favorite band, REM, is releasing 2 more vinyl albums this year, later in August, Reveal and Accelerate. Reveal is the summer album with songs all wrapped around summer days and summer events and stuff like that. And Accelerate was one of my favorite of the new REM stuff, a high-speed, very quick, 35-minute long sort of CD, which every song is fairly good, and it's boom, 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 fantastic, quick, boom, 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 just fantastic stuff. Really good, a really good rocker. The Spawn reboot that keeps getting mentioned over and over and over again. Tom McFarlane keeps saying, it's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. I'm working on it. It's great. It's going to be fantastic. It's finally getting a release date of potentially 2025 from Blumhouse. So Blumhouse is behind it. So we'll see how that goes. Fall Out Boy released an updated version of We Didn't Start the Fire, the Billy Joel song that does a chronological history of the world from the 1950s to the 1980s. Fall Out Boy added a bunch of new lyrics to it, but he did not do it chronologically, so that's kind of disappointing. But still, there is a addendum to that movie or to that song, so that one's come up here too. Chadwick Boseman, Michelle Yeoh, Gal Gadot, Christina Ricci are all going to be getting Hollywood Walk of Fame films within the next year or so. So good on that. It is official. The remains they found, I talked about this last week, in the mountains where Julian Sands disappeared, has officially been determined to be Julian Sands' remains. So Julian Sands is officially passed on, and so that could hopefully bring his family. 7 months later, his family gets some solace knowing that, they don't need to wonder anymore if he's still out there or what. They know that he's dead, and it's going to be sad, but they can start moving on and taking care of things. So good for them. The new Hulu Futurama trailer came out. Didn't really take a look at it because there really wasn't any way to really take a look at it real easily. So I guess it's similar to the typical Futurama stuff. I was never really a big fan of Futurama. So good for you. You guys are going to get that sooner than later. I think it's coming at the end of the month or whatever. Dolphins and Chiefs game in the NFL game between the Miami Dolphins and Kansas City Chiefs game in Germany sells out in 15 minutes. So Germany wants their football, so that's a good sign, I guess. After the potential big hit that is going to be Barbie, Mattel's decided they want to do a Barney movie and a Hot Wheels movie. So we'll see if they can actually pull that stuff off. So we'll see. The Winter of Frankie Mackey adaptation from The Bear is in the works. Don't know much about it. The Bird Box sequel, Barcelona trailer, came out this week. It's due out July 14th on Netflix. Bird Box was one of those films during COVID, and what really made Netflix a huge streaming thing that came out with Sandra Bullock. It became a big hit, so now we have the sequel. Without Sandra Bullock, but people like the idea of the story as well, I guess. Barbie nail polish collection is also coming out with the movie here. So if you want color your nails like Barbie colors, stuff like that, you'll be able to do that. Ashley Greene and Shawn Ashmore, again, late 90s, early 2000s stars, are set to star in It Feeds, a supernatural horror film. Ryan Seacrest has been tapped to replace Pat Sajak as the host of Wheel of Fortune. That's not too surprising. Superman Legacy revealed its new Clark and Lois. David Cornsrud and Rachel Brosnahan are going to be the new Lois and Clark. So we'll see. I don't know much about them. They have look apparently, so we'll see about that. A man posing as a Las Vegas casino owner or hotel owner steals over $1 million from the casino. So interesting. Got away with it too. Mars Perseverance rover spots a red planet rock, which has a giant hole in the middle of it. So they're trying to figure out how that happens. That's kind of cool. And alcohol sales will be banned at next year's Paris Olympics, except for VIPs. So I guess that's a common thing that happened at the World Cup last year, but that was because it was in Qatar and they don't like alcohol there. Or it's against a religion, something like that. Anniversaries, we have Ratatouille from 2007 this week, Dragnet from 1987 this week, Coming to America from 1988 this week, The Patriot 23 years ago this week, and The Perfect Storm 23 years ago this week. They ran up against each other. Perfect Storm ended up beating The Patriot, and that was good. And Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines came out 20 years ago this week. So that was the third one before the Christian Bale one and before Genesis, which came out this week as well, 8 years ago. Death, we have a Nobel Prize winning battery pioneer named John Goodenough. He died at the age of 100 this week. And Ulysses Holloman, a former Negro League player who played for the Baltimore Negro League baseball team, died this week as well. And also, speaking of sports people who played in Baltimore, Ryan Mallett, former backup quarterback for Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson, possibly, maybe. I don't remember. We called him Crab Mallett, and he had a couple really good games. He died due to a drowning accident, which is a shame. So condolences to him and his family and to everybody who lost loved ones this week as well. I think I might save SCOTUS to the end because this is going by much quicker than I thought it would. More local news, sports local news also. 4 Orioles are going to the All-Star game. Adley Rutschman, Austin Hayes, Felix Bautista, and Junior Cano. So it's the first time we've had multiple players going to the All-Star game for a while now. So that's pretty cool to see that. I love bringing the Schadenfreude because that's who I am. The Flash movie could lose Warner Brothers Discovery upwards of $200 million. And we have Ezra Miller whining that the news reports were biased against him. Well, no kidding. You're a fucking psychopathic cult leader who abducts women and children and sexually assaults them, you asshole, and beats them up, and you shoot guns at them, and you're a crazy psychopath motherfucker. And a simple, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it, is not enough to appease us. So yes, they are biased because you're a fucking lunatic and should not be allowed in movie theaters anymore because you're a psycho. That's why it was biased, you son of a bitch asshole. Go the fuck home. Go away. You belong in jail. Get the fuck out. Fucking piece of shit. Whiny little bitch. Speaking of DC also, they have a 3-part documentary series called Superpowered that's going to detail the history of the DC Comics universe, coming to Max. First trailer for it came out. Yeah, really care less about it. Among Us, which hasn't been hugely popular for a few years, is getting an animated series. So I guess they're hoping that it's going to bring back people to that. My son, who's 13 years old, has played Roblox for years now. It's one of his favorite video games, or it's a computer game right now. And Roblox has been going on for a while, but it's kind of becoming unhip according to certain people who are not hip themselves. They're just going by what the trends are. But Roblox is still fun for a lot of people. So people have been growing up with Roblox. Roblox has decided they will be creating a 17 and up section of Roblox that'll be a little more adult-oriented games, not sexual stuff or like that, more violence and stuff like that. So, it's a good way, to keep your existing fan base, people who grew up playing you and they're like, oh, this is too childish. And now you're going to be able to keep playing Roblox. So there'll be games that'll be closer to your age range and stuff like that. Pokemon taxidermy is a thing. Obviously, there's no real such thing as Pokemon, but there is a taxidermist who is creating taxidermy versions of various Pokemon and putting them in how taxidermists do stuff. And it's actually kind of interesting like that. El Muerto, the god-awful, stupid, not needed Spider-Man film based on a villain named El Muerto who only appeared in 2 comics and is not even one of his big villains, was going to star rapper Bad Bunny or Big Bunny, where the fuck his name is, I don't know. But he dropped out and Sony dropped it off of the calendar. Now it looks like they're going to be changing the sex of El Muerto, and WWE Sasha Licaro is looking like she might be circling the role of El Muerto now. Still going to be a piece of shit. There's no reason to do this movie. It is a waste of money. Just stop. It's a stupid idea for a movie. The LSU college baseball team won the College World Series. Japanese bath bomb inspired by Jaws is out now. It's when you put it in your bathtub, it creates gory, bloody water. Okay, if you're into that sort of thing, cool, man. Poker Face, that Ryan Johnson show that was on Peacock, is actually going to be coming to Blu-ray in September, and I've been hearing a lot of good things about it, so I think I'm going to pick that up and watch it because it's supposedly really, really good. So check that out. Ghostbusters Firehouse has officially finished filming as well, so that's good. They're hitting their dates now, so now they have, let's see, they ended it this week, so let's just say it was June 28th or something like that. The movie's out December 20th, so they got less than 6 months to do the special effects. So hopefully they'll be able to do that to get it out in time for the December 20th event here. Monster Squad, one of my favorite Halloween-esque movies and a great movie that needs to get some love going, is getting a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray release, which usually when they do a 4K one, they'll do a new version of the Blu-ray as well. So it'll be good to get a new version of that coming up here soon. The world's first X-ray of a single atom has been achieved this week as well. So they got a X-ray of what an atom looks like. So that's pretty cool. So you can actually now see what an atom officially looks like with X-ray. Pet Pig walks through Federal Hill neighborhood, which is a local neighborhood here in Baltimore. Was just wandering through the town. It's a big, fat, giant pig. Was just wandering around Federal Hill for whatever reason. Must have escaped a pen in his family's house or whatever. And at Kutztown University, where one of my previous Dylan Knows partners, Jerry Fletcher, who used to do the list show with me, her son is going to Kutztown University this fall. They are warning of an aggressive cow that is on campus. Yes, an aggressive cow on campus at Kutztown University. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Family builds an elevator for a dog who cannot climb stairs in their house. That's very adorable. The WB's Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdi are going to be the new curators for Turner Classic Movies, so hopefully they'll keep that up and running as well. Arizona Extra Sweet Tropsicle Drink is a new thing. Tropsicle is interesting flavor sounding, I guess. So we'll see about that. I'm not a big fan of tropical stuff anyway, so it's kind of weird. Ryan Reynolds, who just cannot get enough. He owns a football team in England. He's in on one of the ownership groups that's vying to get a Canadian hockey team, National Hockey League hockey team. I think it's Ottawa Senators. He's in on that. He has his gin or vodka or whiskey or whatever. He has that alcohol thing that he's doing also. He had that Mint Mobile, which he sold to AT&T and got like $1 billion for. Now he is also adding money to a Formula One team called Team Alpine. And he's not alone. Michael B. Jordan and Rob McElhenney are also joining him in helping finance this Formula One race team, Team Alpine. So he just keeps going. And now the big thing also, I didn't write this down, but this is a story that Blake Lively, his wife, is selling a bunch of hard seltzers. And people are angry at her because she has said multiple times that she does not drink alcohol. So they're like, well, how can you sell alcoholic products? You don't drink it. You're a business person. You don't have to, you sell dog food. You don't eat the dog food. You don't have to be an alcohol lover to sell alcohol. It's a popular item. And the whole point of selling something is to make money. And they're just raging on her because she's a woman who, is a hypocrite, blah, blah. No, it's not like that at all. It's a way to make money. If there was something I didn't like that I thought would be a major moneymaker for me, I'd fucking sell that in a second. Get over yourselves, assholes. God, I hate this country. Maybe not the country, but the asshole people who are making this a terrible country. We'll get that in a second with my SCOTUS thing. I'm a holiday guy. Everybody knows that. 4th of July shirt. Here we go. It's never too early to talk about the greatest holiday season coming up. October is Halloween, obviously, and we've already gotten news about the new Halloween Fruity Pebbles, purple and orange flavored Fruity Pebbles. So it looks pretty good. So that'll be out in time for this Halloween. And for Christmas, this is local news. The Cirque du Soleil is returning to Baltimore for the first time in forever with a holiday show called 'Twas Cirque, which is based on Christmas-based, holiday-based Cirque du Soleil event coming to Baltimore later this year in time for the holidays. So holidays rule, I'm telling you. Teresa Taylor, drummer for the Butthole Surfers, died this week. She's also a slacker icon. And Darren Dietrich, football running back, died at the age of 44 this week as well. Anniversaries, I don't think it was on here. It did open this week though. Independence Day opened this actually today, 96 years ago, not 96, in 1996. So that would be like 27 years ago. Speaking of that, 26 years ago, Men in Black debuted around this time. 35 years ago, Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out. Another awesome film. I forgot about this one. Oreos are teaming with Nintendo for Super Mario collection, where the cookies will have Super Mario in the middle. It's kind of cool. Anniversary Stripes came out in 1981 this week. Sleepless in Seattle is 30 years old this week as well. 28 Days Later is 21 years this week. Twilight Zone, the movie came out in 1983. The less we talk about that, the less we have to deal with anything about that. Is that everything? Okay, this is a quick episode. I'm only 43 minutes in, and I'm done everything I need to do for this episode. I mean, it's a holiday weekend, I suppose. That's the big thing, and we'll see what happens next week since we got holiday week as well. But real quick, time for me to vent a little bit. As I said, about a year or so ago, the Supreme Court of the United States, which is an illegitimate court, by the way, right now, because it was 3 Supreme Court justices were pushed through to be members of the Supreme Court, despite them breaking rules that they placed on President Obama to get people through here. Plus, there wasn't good enough investigations into all 3 of these people because all 3 of them are criminals in some form or another, or lied on the stand as well. And it's what caused everything that's been happening to us now is the Republicans' end game the whole time. They didn't care. The only thing we can do now is President Biden needs to expand the court and appoint 4 new judges so that we can win back the majority of that as well. That ain't going to probably happen because the Senate is a piece of shit right now and is not helping us with anything. So we'll see what happens. But last year at this time, as you all recall, I went off on a huge rant where they got rid of abortion. And we're still fighting back. And it's still still pretty bad in a lot of states, but a lot of states have passed stuff that is helping with the abortion stuff. So we got that back again. But then they decided to fuck us over again this week. Same time, about a year or so ago, they decided to fuck us over again this week. So this week alone, the illegitimate Supreme Court of the United States repealed affirmative action, said it's okay to discriminate against gay people, and struck down loan forgiveness. I like to call this the bleak midsummer. I was actually going to call this episode the bleak midsummer until I found out that weed was legalized. I'm going to try to do this as calm as I can and not do too much because I'm kind of tired. I want to get moving. And it's like banging my head against the wall because nothing is ever going to change until we expand the court or we do an investigation, because we're learning more and more that the other judges on the court are taking bribes, which is illegal for certain things. They're actually doing court cases that are very much pro way right, which is illegal also. You shouldn't be allowed to do that either. You should be a fair and judgmental group and not have politics come into it, but that is not the case here. It is an illegitimate court. It is a criminal court and needs to be investigated immediately, and it needs to expand it as well because there are more superior courts now, so you need to have more justices to cover those superior courts as well. That being said, they struck down affirmative action, which basically means that colleges had to allow a certain number of people of color, usually black people, into their college. They were going to pay and all that stuff, and they just wanted to get an education. It kind of pissed off a lot of people because they believe that these students did not get in on merit, their grades, whatever, they got in because they were black or whatever. And that's a bunch of bullshit because they were able to get out of the horrible school systems that are permeating through our country and actually get to higher education. And a lot of them have gone on to be very successful, including one Supreme Court Justice, Clarence Thomas, who voted against affirmative action. He was able to use that to get to where he is now, the goddamn hypocrite who's a criminal anyway, as is his wife, he doesn't recluse himself from cases involving his wife. That's besides the point. Affirmative action is needed and important for black and people of color students who want to get a better education. And the only way they can do it is, to get into the best schools and learn and work really, really hard. And as I said, the majority of them are able to do that. Now, a lot of people are screaming, they should get in due to merit. Well, let's talk about legacies, shall we? One of the schools that was really bitching about this was Harvard. Harvard is a fucking racist piece of crap school anyway. But I digress. But the majority, a lot of the people, including another Supreme Court justice, what's his face, that idiot drunk who says he loves beer and all that bullshit and raped all those women, he got in, he claimed, by working his butt off. You got into law school maybe by doing that, but you got into Yale because your grandfather was a member of Yale, and so they saw it as, he's a legacy he's automatically involved in, without looking at this drunken raping asshole. So legacy people, if you're getting rid of affirmative action, you need to get rid of legacy people. You cannot say because they had a relative who was a member of it back in the 20s, 30s, or whatever, he automatically gets in, because that's sort of the same goddamn thing. They're not getting on there by merit. They're getting on there by name. So you need to get rid of that too. Oh, we can't do that, though. That's not the way it's supposed to work. No, because you're a bunch of racist motherfuckers. That's why. Pieces of shit. So affirmative action was dropped. Now, this second one is even more infuriating, where a woman who had created a wedding website said she was refusing a gay couple and wanted to clarify what her rights were, if it was okay if she could discriminate against a gay couple who wanted to use her website to set up their wedding. So of course they took the hypothetical and said, nope, your belief that you don't like gay people, then they can't use your website. You are absolutely allowed to refuse service for them because they're gay. Now you dig a little deeper. This gay couple never existed. This woman just created the website so that she could go off on gay people. She wasn't really, this was not a business she created. She created this scenario to see if she can make it to the Supreme Court to show how much she hated gay people. I'm not kidding. You can look it up. It was a fucking farce to show that they're coming after, and they have been coming after LGBTQ people and are continuing to take away their rights. And this was just another way of saying that now, if you're gay, a business can say, we don't want to, we refuse to, do anything for you. Which reminds me a lot of the 1960s and 50s and 40s when Black people were treated the same way, which was illegal, by the way. And it still should be illegal because it's still not racism. It's they're being prejudiced against them. And they're, if you don't want to serve gay people, that's fine. But because they're gay doesn't mean, that you should refuse their business. And that doesn't make any business sense either, because if they're willing to pay you lots of money to do the job for you, you very well fucking should do the job because you're making money. But that's just the start. That means now that any business can discriminate against gay people because they don't like them. And finally, the loan forgiveness one. I'm for people getting their college loans forgiven because college loans are incredibly expensive now. And it'd be a good way for a lot of these people to start off fresh without having to worry about paying their loans. And the money they get from the jobs they get can help make them have a better way of life instead of paying their college tuition back. I paid my college tuition back. I'm not upset if other people don't have to. I'm fine with that. If it makes their lives better, that's fine. I suffered. I'm okay. I didn't really suffer too much, but it was hard, and I'm okay. I think they should absolutely get rid of loan forgiveness. But they said, no, we're shutting that down also. Now, here's the thing. When we had COVID, a lot of these Republicans who voted against having loan forgiveness had PPP loans that were paid off, that were more expensive and were worth more money than they were by college students. These college students trying to pay back their loans, they're now saying you can't do that. The people who got their loans paid off, the PPP ones that were up in the $100,000s of dollars, were forgiven. And they're okay with that because, hey, it was me. It was okay if it was me, but if it's you, no, you don't get to do that. And again, one of the Supreme Court justices who was on that and on the decision had all of his debt cleaned away before he went through his, cycle of being interviewed to go to the court, because if he still had that debt, it would be a big fucking deal and he wouldn't make it. So somebody paid his $200,000 worth of debt, and yet they say $10,000 is too much. It's frustrating. My stomach is continuing to hurt. It's upsetting. This country just keeps going in the wrong direction, and it doesn't seem like anything is changing, and no one is doing a goddamn thing about it. And that's got to change. We're going to celebrate our Independence Day on July 4th. This country sure as fuck doesn't feel independent anymore. It feels like we are falling into a fascist, right-wing, religious hierarchy bullshit. That is not what this country's about. What this country's about is freedom of religion, freedom of choice, freedom to do whatever you want within the laws. You don't want to kill anybody, break any of the laws like breaking and entering or killing people or stuff like that. Not because you're gay, we're going to pass a law that says you can't be gay anymore. That's not a law. That is prejudice. We're supposed to be a free country. We are not have one religion. We have multiple religions. We have multiple people. We should be allowing multiple. We are a country made up of immigrants, and we are pushing away immigrants who help make this country a better place. And this country sucks ass and is not getting any better anytime quickly. And I'm pissed about it. And that's really all I'm going to say about that, because I really don't want to say more about this because I'm tired. I'm hot. And I don't know what else to say because nothing's going to get done. And I'm tired. But I'm going to keep fighting as best I can. And there's wish there were more that I could do. But it just seems like it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And on this 4th of July weekend, we need to start focusing on what made this country great before. It wasn't white supremacist. It wasn't prejudice. It wasn't religion. It was people, regular people. And the whole point of the United States was for people looking to live the best life they can, the easiest life they can, getting away from a horrible situation in their previous countries to come to a country where they have the opportunity to achieve the American dream. We need to fix that. All right. It's a quick holiday episode of Dylan Knows, so that's it. I think I'm going to try to do because I love my list, I'm going to try to do a list of the best 4th of July movies, possibly tomorrow, to watch around 4th of July week. I probably should have done it today also because it's only got a couple of days of 4th of July, but I figure I may as well just do it. And you can use it for next year, whatever. So on that note, I am going to leave you all now. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and hopefully you're one of the lucky ones that gets off tomorrow. I'm not. We get a cookout instead. I'm excited. Thanks, guys, for listening and watching, and have a great July 4th weekend. Celebrate freedom. Don't celebrate oppression. That's what 4th of July is a celebration of freedom. And don't hurt yourselves with fireworks. See you guys.